The African Union Commission is going to facilitate a series of meetings in Lusaka, Zambia from the 16th of July to the 22nd of July this year. The first meeting will be the Africa Integration Forum and Day, which is going to be held from the 16th to the 8th of July. This is going to be followed by the Africa Private Sector Forum, which is going to be held from the 13th to the 15th of July. After that, from the 14th to the 15th of July, we're going to have the Executive Council, and thereafter, we're going to have the Media Coordination Meeting on the 17th of July. And this is going to be followed with the meeting of the Specialized Technical Committee on Finance, Monetary Affairs, Economic Planning, and Integration from the 18th to the 22nd of July 2022. The Media Coordinations meeting, which is going to be held on the 17th of July, basically looks at two issues. The first one is on the status of regional integration in Africa, which whose report I present. Then there is also a report on issues of coordination and collaboration among the African Union Commission, the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area, the 8 regional economic communities, and the regional mechanisms, and that is presented by the head of the reform unit, Professor Mukoko. The Executive Council is basically focused on the issues of the budget. They look at the budget, which is going to be for the year 2023. They are going to prove that budget. And right now, the Permanent Representative Committee is very busy drafting or going through the agenda of the Executive Council. And like I said, the major issue is the question of the budget. But of course, there are other issues related to implementation of both the decisions of the Assembly and the decisions of the Executive Council. But the main focus is basically the budget. The heads of state and government in 2019 designated 7th of July as Africa Integration Day. And this is aimed at creating public awareness about the importance of economic integration in Africa's political, social, and economic development. So the aim is to create public awareness at the level of citizens, the private sector, the local communities, the civil society organizations, as well as governments, including the learning institutions. And in order to achieve that, we have organized a series of panel discussions which are going to focus on issues such as the tripartite free trade area involving the East African community, the Southern African Development Community, and the Common Market for Eastern and Southern Africa, COMESA, as well as a panel discussion organized by the Secretariat of the African Continental Free Trade Area. And there are also other panel discussions organized by the Afro Champions Initiative, the Africa E-Trade Group, and the Africa Sovereign Fund Investors. And at the opening ceremony, we expect the participation of His Excellency, the President of Uganda, who is the champion on regional integration, and the host government, the President of Zambia, His Excellency, the President of Zambia, and the chairperson of the African Union Commission. The private sector forum basically is going to look at how to deepen the processes of private sector involvement in Africa's development. And this is going to involve participation of about 150 private sector entities from Africa and the rest of the world. One of the highlight activities will be to develop some key skills on entrepreneurship among the young people of Africa. We'll be working with the Google Africa to provide that training. Basically, when the heads of state and government look at the issue of regional integration in Africa, they are going to receive the report which we were prepared for this year, looking at the status of regional integration in Africa for the period 2021, and is based on the African Multi-Dimensional Integration Index, AMRII. So far, what it measures is that the regional economic communities are at very different levels of economic integration. Some of them are free trade areas, others have attained the status of a customs union, others have plans to go towards a monetary union, and the East Africa also has plans to go towards a confederation. Given with these different levels of economic integration, there are also other issues that emerge from our review. One is the new momentum towards overlapping membership. Quite a number of member states are now joining different regional economic communities for several reasons, some of which to do with peace and security, but that also puts a strain on their national budgets, and we as the Secretariat have determined that the issue of overlapping memberships at the end of the day really is a deflection towards deeper economic integration. And the other issue which is emerging from our review is that almost all the regional economic communities are facing very, very, very critical security and peace challenges, and that has adverse impacts on regional integration. But the good news is that all of them have put up systems and structures to deal with the peace and the security challenges, which means that they do not the regional economic communities are not just going to sit by idle and let the peace and security challenges evolve as they do, but they're going to deal with them as they emerge. And another issue coming up from the evaluation is that we need to increase investments in productive activities such as agriculture, manufacturing, and agro-processing. It's very, very, very low right now, and as a result, there's very limited intra-African trade. So for us to ensure that we deepen the process of integration through trade, we need to invest heavily on productive transformation. And this means that we develop regional and continental value chains across Africa, and the department is undertaking work in this direction, and also promote research and development at the level of the public and private sectors across Africa. All these are going to really ensure that we move towards high-value manufacturing. A good example is on the issue of regional and continental value chains. When you look at the pattern of manufacturing across Africa, 75% of the inputs, the cost of manufacturing comes from intermediate inputs, and these are imported from outside Africa. In order to reduce the cost of intermediate products, we need to develop regional and continental value chains, focus not just on intra-African trade on finished products, but also intra-African trade on intermediate goods. And there's vast scope for that, and that is going to lower the cost of manufacturing, and that is also going to contribute to a value addition across Africa. The key question that emerges now, as the heads of state and government will be looking at this issue, is to say, how do we leverage African economic integration to address the challenges posed by the COVID-19 pandemic, as well as the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Certainly, the future of Africa lies in deeper economic integration.